Welcome to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, founder of the Reiki Business Collective and creator of the Build Your Reiki Business program, sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business. Greetings, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me this week for the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, and of course am honored and grateful to have you here. So thank you so very much. In this week's episode, we're talking about email for your Reiki business. And I'm excited to talk about this topic because it is a very important and often, all too often overlooked tool in our Reiki business. I'm also excited because coming up on March 3rd is the Email for Your Reiki Business workshop, in which I am going to be talking all about email for your Reiki business. And so if you are not currently using email in your Reiki business, or you're kind of using it, definitely you'll want to join this workshop, because it is everything you need to not only get started on your email journey in your Reiki business, but also to expand it and to level up. So it will be a do not miss workshop for sure. But as I was planning the workshop, there were a few things that I really wanted to address in the workshop that I thought, quite frankly, I didn't want to waste the time in the workshop focusing on, and that I thought would be great for the podcast. And so the information that I'm sharing in this podcast is actually information that would be part of the beginning of the Email for Your Reiki Business workshop and part of the introduction and some pieces of the workshop that I simply wanted to take out of the workshop so that we would have more time to focus on some higher level kinds of information in the workshop. So it will be a jam-packed, full, and powerful workshop. And there's so much to say about email that I thought, I'm going to share some of this with our podcast listeners. It might be kind of hard to believe, but more than 360 billion emails are sent every single day. That's 360 billion with a B. That is a lot of emails. That's an incredible amount of emails. And for me, as someone who sends emails in my Reiki business, it's mind-boggling, humbling, and honoring to think that emails in my Reiki business are part of the 361 billion. That's pretty incredible. Now, of course, in our Reiki business, most of us, the vast majority of us, I'm sure, use some kind of email in our Reiki business for responding to clients, reaching out to clients, or for receiving questions about our services. And so we all use email to some degree. But when I talk about using email, I'm really talking about using it on a wider scale and using it in a very focused kind of way for our Reiki business, specifically with emails that we send about our services, about our offerings, about upcoming events, and emails that really, for lack of a better term, serve a marketing purpose. And so while we all no doubt use email in our Reiki business in some way, shape, or form, I'm talking specifically about using it as a tool in our Reiki business, as a purposeful and intentional tool in our Reiki business, primarily through sending multiple emails at a time. So through sending emails to multiple people at a time. And so why might we even want to use email as a tool in our Reiki business in the first place? I have some really clear reasons for doing this in my own Reiki business, and some real reasons that I want to encourage you to consider if you are not yet using email in your Reiki business. First and foremost, Reiki is not a haircut. And so when we offer a service like Reiki, it's the kind of service that people aren't always thinking about all of the time, or that they don't look in the mirror and say, I'm due for a Reiki session. Like they might look in the mirror and say, I need a haircut. So there's no built-in reminder for a Reiki session. And it's very easy for clients and potential clients to just forget to schedule a session, even if it's something that they really benefit from and enjoy and have a good experience with. You know, we all have busy lives, and it's just easy to forget something like scheduling a Reiki session, or to say, oh, yeah, I need to do that. Oh, that's right, the Reiki session. Oh, well, I'll get around to scheduling that. And then what happens? You forget. And you're not looking in the mirror every day to remind yourself, oh, I need to schedule a Reiki session. That's right, like you are when you look in the mirror and say, oh, I need a haircut. So email is great because it helps to remind your clients that they need a haircut. Another reason to use email in your Reiki business is because not all of your potential clients are ready to book a session with you the first time that they meet you. Not everyone is ready to join your class, not ready to book a session or some other offer that you are offering, not yet ready to purchase a product. They might like you. They might be interested and intrigued by what you offer. They may even have the intention of booking a session or joining a class at some point, but maybe they're just not ready right away. This is actually the vast majority of our potential clients. Something that we often forget is that the vast majority of our potential clients are not ready to book or buy as soon as they meet us, as soon as they learn about us or our Reiki business and our services. And so they may not yet be ready to buy, but we want to make sure that we are available if/when they are ready to start their Reiki journey with a class, or to book a session, or whatever it is that you might be offering that they might be interested in and ready for. Not all of your clients, potential clients, the vast majority of them are not ready right away. But when they are ready, you want to be available to them. And email will help to remind them of you and to help them in their interest to book a session with you, or to join a class, or some other service that you are offering. And so even though they're not ready, email will help them to keep you at the top of their mind. What I'm saying is that when you send emails, they will remember you, and you will be at the top of their mind if or when they are ready to book a session or a class or whatever it might be. And so that email keeps you fresh in their mind. Along with this is the idea that on social media, many of us in our Reiki business are getting the word out about our Reiki business on social media. And social media is very fickle. And social media is very fickle in terms of who sees our stuff, how often they see our stuff, and whether they see it at all. And so when we post something on social media, there is a pretty darn good chance that even though someone is following us or a friend with us, or, following our business page, there's a pretty good chance that they're still not going to see what we post. Out of thousands of followers, when you post, maybe several hundred are going to see that post. Of course, likes attract likes on social media. And the more people who like and comment, the more people who are going to see it. But if it doesn't get a lot of views to begin with, then, like a handful of people might see your posts on social media. And so social media is very fickle in that way. Another thing that's very fickle about social media is the users. People come and go on social media. And so they might check in from time to time. They might like what you post. They might like and be interested in your Reiki business, but maybe they're only on social media every couple of days. And they really don't log in that frequently to see your posts every day. And again, with what's showing up in their feed, they may not see your posts every day anyway, even if they are on social media every day. Not only that, but people we know, take social media breaks. And so they may just take a break off of social media for weeks and even months at a time. And if you are only using social media to reach your clients and potential clients, or you're using it as one of your primary tools, or I should say even your primary tool, then there's a great chance that you are going to lose people, that people are going to drop off, that they are going to see your stuff and be interested, but then, they're off of social media. And if they're off of social media, they're not hearing from you at all. They aren't interacting with you at all. They're not engaging with your stuff at all. And so people come and go on social media and take social media breaks. And that means that they can indeed miss a lot of what you are offering. When you use email in your Reiki business, however, there is a much greater chance of someone seeing your stuff. And so while you might post on social media, and of course this is especially true with a business page on Facebook, but you might post on Instagram or on Facebook, and only a few people see your posts, there's a much greater chance that people are going to see that same information if you send it out via email. So there's a much greater chance that people are going to see your stuff in their email inbox than they will on social media. Now, in the email for your Reiki Business Workshop, we are going to talk all about how to increase the chances that people are going to see your stuff in their email inbox. So first of all, that it lands in their email inbox and not their spam folder. And second of all, how to get people to click to open your emails so that your stuff gets seen. We're going to talk about that in depth in the workshop. But generally speaking, people are going to more likely see your stuff when you send it out via email than they are when you post it on social media. One of the things that's also nice about email is that it is more intimate and personal than posting on social media. And so when you are showing up in someone's inbox, that is a much more personal space. As a matter of fact, that is a private space. I don't know about you, but I'm the only one who sees the inside of my email inbox. So I'm the only one who sees what shows up in my email. And so that is a very private and intimate space. And I think that it's such a true honor to be able to send messages to people's email address and to show up in their inbox. I find it very humbling and honoring. And it is just really, I think, incredible to think that we can participate in this intimate space in someone's life. People may go on social media breaks, but I don't know of anyone who goes on an email break. because that email is important to us. It's something that we use on a daily basis. Probably you check your email on a daily basis like I do as well. But it's something that is intimate. It's something that we use every day. And we don't take email breaks like we might from social media. So we might go off of social media for a span, but we don't take breaks from email. I know I've had plenty of clients and students and followers who will reach out to me and say, Christian, I'm taking a social media break. You're not going to see me, but I will still get your emails, right? I'll still know what's going on by your emails, right? And yes, of course, you will still get my emails. And so, yes, of course, you will still know what is going on and be able to participate and engage. So no one takes an email break. I know I have found this in my own Reiki business over the years, where I might connect with someone on social media for a brief amount of time and then they're gone. Boom. I don't see them. I don't hear from them. And I don't interact with them. And then maybe they'll reply to one of my emails, and one of my weekly emails that I might send out, they'll hit reply and say hello. And it's so wonderful to hear from them, to say, oh, wow, this person is still around. And thankfully they are on my email list and they're able to stay engaged, and they're able to continue to participate in the community, even while they're not on social media. So that's a pretty powerful thing for sure. And finally, why email? It's not going away. It is not going away. I don't know about you, but I remember MySpace. Do you remember MySpace? No, I'll say I never had a MySpace account. I never had MySpace. It was never MySpace. But I know of MySpace. I knew of MySpace. MySpace is gone. No one uses MySpace anymore. Or even more recently, does anyone remember Clubhouse? Whatever happened to Clubhouse? Like, Clubhouse is gone. But guess what isn't gone? Email. Email is not gone, and email is not going away. With 361 plus billion emails sent per day, email is not going anywhere. It is here to stay. And so if you're looking for something long-term to help you reach clients and potential clients, email is a pretty darn good bet. Now, in the workshop on March 3rd, I am going to talk with you all about all kinds of email everything. So I'll talk with you about how I have so many people on my list. I don't throw out numbers very frequently in my Reiki business because my focus is not on the numbers. But I will tell you that if you take all of my social media platforms and all of the numbers of followers that I have across all of my social media platforms, and you add them all together, it's less than the number of people who are on my email list. And so I'll share with you how I added more than 1,000 subscribers to my email list in 1 year. And I'll share with you how I have higher than average open rates. The average open rate is about 20%. I'll share with you how I double that rate with every single email that I send out. I'll share with you how to set everything up on the back end and why it matters, why that's important. I'll share with you the laws that are really important for you to pay attention to and how to stay out of email jail, both figuratively and literally. But before we end this episode of the podcast, I want to share with you some very important things that are very important for anyone who is interested in using email in your Reiki business. And these are things that, again, I would share in the workshop, but I want to get them out on the podcast so that I can free up that time to talk about other more in-depth things in the workshop. And that is, first of all, if you are interested in using email for your Reiki business, or even if you're not, I recommend creating a whole different email address that you can use to get on email lists. And so for me and my Reiki business, I do not subscribe to email lists with my Reiki business email. That email, remember, it's an intimate space. It's a private space. That space is specifically for my Reiki business. So emails from clients, emails from vendors that I work with, contractors, all kinds of things. That is what is prioritized in my Reiki business email, and that's all that gets into my Reiki business email. So what I've done is that I've created a separate email that I use specifically to get on email lists. And so when I subscribe to another Reiki business owner's email list, by the way, I'll totally subscribe to your list. I do that with a separate email address. And as a matter of fact, yes, indeed, I do check that address frequently. And yes, indeed, you would probably know that if I'm on your list, I'm probably hitting reply and saying hello to your emails. But get on lists and do this in order to get an idea for what others are doing, not to copy. I'm not an advocate of copying, and I'll talk about that in the workshop, but as a way to just see what others are doing, to get ideas, and to even get information and great notifications and things that others will send out on their lists. So I do encourage you to create a separate email specifically for lists, and don't clutter up your Reiki business email with subscriptions to lists. Second, please, no matter what you do on your email journey, please do not add people without permission. Please don't start your email list and say, oh, well, my friend would love to be added. I'm going to add them. Or, oh, I have all of these Reiki business friends. I'm just going to put them on my email list. Or to go through your email and say, oh, I receive emails from Christian. I'm going to put him on my list. No, don't do that. Number one, not only is it not professional, also number two, it could be illegal, depending upon who you're adding to your list and how. Yes, I will cover this in the workshop, but it is very unprofessional to do this. I have had this done to me, where, of course, remember, I don't use my Reiki business email for email lists. And so when someone emails me from their newly created email list, I know I didn't do that. And so I have to email them and say, please remove me from this list. And please don't do that. Of course, I say it in a nicer way, but that's really what it is. And so you never, ever want to be adding people to your list just because you think that they would be interested, or you think that, well, I'm on their list, and so it's okay for me to add them to my list. I'm sorry, that's not true. And like I said, I'm happy to join your list, but let me do it from a different email address. So please don't add people without permission. I will show you in the workshop exactly how to get permission and how to make sure that you have permission and that it is safe to send emails. And then number three, when you get an email that you don't want, so let's say you signed up for a list. We'll just say, let's say you signed up for my list and you're like, you know what? I no longer want these emails. I no longer want to be subscribed to Christian's list. I encourage you to hit unsubscribe rather than to call it spam or junk. This is bad. And so If you don't like the person who's sending the emails, if they have put you on their list without permission, if you're mad at them or whatever, then by all means, you may want to list the email as spam, log a spam complaint, or put it in junk. But if you do that to someone who you like, or someone who you're like, oh, I just don't feel like receiving these emails anymore. Yes, I signed up for this list, but I don't feel like getting these emails anymore. That's actually very unhelpful for them. And so that's actually a detriment to them in their business if you mark something as spam that you signed up for and that you agreed to receive, or that you call it junk. So just a heads up on that. Again, I'm going to talk about it in the workshop, all about how to avoid having your emails called spam or junk and what to do about it, and even what the thresholds are for if there is a problem. We're going to go so into depth on all of that. You're going to get so much out of the workshop, and it's going to be mind-blowing for you, for sure. So please do join us. I'll drop the link down below. That's on March 3rd. If you can't join live, yes, you'll get the replay. And also, I am really honored to include a special bonus free guide along with that workshop. Anyone who registers for the workshop will get that bonus guide. You can learn more at the link to register. So do you use email for your Reiki business? Please do join us in the Reiki Business Collective and tell us all about it at facebook.com/groups/ReikiBiz. And yes, indeed, if you want to get on my email list, you can get the Reiki Biz Kit at standingstoneshealing.com/Reiki Biz Kit. By the way, we're going to talk about that in the workshop as well. So I'm sending so many blessings and best wishes to your email and to your Reiki business. Thanks for tuning in to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend. Learn more about the Build Your Reiki Business program at standingstoneshealing.com/build, sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business.